Welcome back in. It's bye-week Wednesday. We're at Memorial Stadium. Parker, Sipple, Lincoln Journal-Star, HuskerExtra.com. It's a bye-week rendition of the 2-minute drill. And Sipple, today we're talking about, I guess, what was sort of Scott Frost's theme today, this morning when we talked to him, about he said there's not radical changes. He doesn't want to see his team play differently from an effort and attitude standpoint in their last 4 games. He just wants them to make the one play, sort of the crunch time play. And he said it, at one point he said 1 inch better. He said they need to get over the hump. It's similar to what we've heard this year, but it's interesting that they've gotten to this point in the season, they're 3-5, and that's still where his mind is.
Well, and he says his players are getting tired of it. They're getting tired of the conversation, which is good. I mean, there's a fine line there, though, right? You don't want them to get too tired.
Well, it's also like, okay, well, you're coming off of 2 straight weeks where you've lost by 3 and by 7 in 2 games you feel like you should have won.
Yeah. Exactly.
So there's a good way to not be tired of it. That would be to do it.
Right. And there's a lot that goes into that conversation, but you don't want to. I mean, Scott doesn't want his tenure to be defined by that.
Right.
So that right now you'd say it is.
Yeah.
They're 5-17 in 1-score games. They're trying to find a way to get over the hump. There's different ways to do that. There's a lot that goes into that discussion. But that was the theme. So the guys are going to get tired of it. We'll just see if they can kind of rid themselves of that and change the conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we're talking about. They need to change the conversation, and they can do that on their own.
It's interesting because one of the things I think you give Frost credit for is he really believes this. Like, it's true, and he's been on this line of thinking essentially since last year. Now, they got to do it. Like, the bottom line is at some point they've got to do it. But when you listen to him talk, like, he's not just saying it to say it. Like, he clearly thinks like that they're really close, and it became evident when you asked him if he had heard what PJ Fleck said about it being, that win. What PJ Fleck said was Minnesota beat Nebraska because of culture over skill.
Yeah.
Minnesota's culture over Nebraska's skill.
Yeah, and Scott indicated he hadn't heard that.
Right.
But he said our culture has come a long way, 100 miles,
yeah.
or whatever he said. He said the way he answered it was our culture's good. And he said he was kind of surprised that PJ Fleck would say that about his skill.
Chris Altman-Bell's pretty good.
Yeah, they're not bad. I mean, they have some good players. And so PJ Fleck essentially is sort of denigrating his skill, his player's skill level, which is an odd thing for a head coach to do. But Fleck routinely puts his foot in his mouth. So. I mean, I don't dislike him, but that's a weird tack to take.
Some of it's a volume deal.
Volume.
We talk a lot. Eventually.
That's what we do.
We talk.
Sometimes that happens to us.
Process teams come 100 miles. They got to get 1 inch better.
Yeah.
What did Springsteen say? Halfway to heaven, just a mile out of hell.
Yeah.
Nebraska football story.
Yeah, that correlates.
There you go. That's a 2-minute drill for the bye week. It got a little squirrely, but we made it through. We'll talk to you next time.